What if your car could argue with you? What if it refused to go to work because it wanted a day off? What if one morning your car updated itself and suddenly thinks it's smarter than you? Terrifying, right? But in 2025, it kind of feels like we're heading in that direction. Cars now have brains, not human brains, but AI chips that make them surprisingly clever. So today we're diving deep into the question, can your car think for itself? And if it can, should you be scared? Before we start talking about sentient cars demanding Wi-Fi privileges, let's clarify something. AI-chipped driving doesn't mean your car's developing opinions. It doesn't mean it knows your secrets. And it absolutely doesn't mean it will refuse to take you to work because it doesn't like Mondays. AI-chipped driving simply means your car has a dedicated computer, a chip, built specifically to handle artificial intelligence tasks. Old cars had basic computers. They managed the engine, the lights, the fuel. AI-chipped cars, they're like a teenager's gaming PC strapped to four wheels. They process real-time information, predict danger, draw conclusions, and react faster than any human can. It's not consciousness, it's computation, at a ridiculous speed. Deep inside the dashboard, behind all the glossy screens and fancy logos, sits a square piece of silicon. This is the AI chip, the car's thinking engine. It takes inputs from every sensor on the vehicle: camera feeds, radar reflections, LiDAR data, ultrasonic sensors, GPS satellites, high-definition maps, driver monitoring cameras, traffic signals, sometimes even cloud data from the internet. And the chip processes all of this in real time. Imagine trying to watch 12 YouTube videos, reply to 3 text messages, solve a math problem, track your brother walking around the house, check if the stove is on, all at the same time. Now imagine doing that 40 times per second. That's what these AI chips do. This level of computation is why AI cars can understand the environment and make decisions. Not emotional decisions, but mathematical ones. Now let's get into the part people find both fascinating and creepy: the car's brain. Not the chip, but the system that feeds the chip information. AI doesn't magically know the world. It has to perceive it. And perception comes from sensors, lots of them. Cameras. Your car has multiple cameras pointing forward, backward, sideways, and sometimes even inside at your face. These cameras don't just see. They identify. They recognize cars, lane lines, pedestrians, bicycles, stop signs, traffic lights, trash cans, and that one guy who likes crossing the street like he's starring in an action movie. To the AI, everything is a box. A pedestrian? Box. A car? Box. A dog? Small box. A truck? Big box. A shadow? Suspicious box. A leaf blowing across the street? Emergency box. Radar? The motion detector. Radar shoots radio waves, and when those waves bounce back, the car knows something is there. Cars use radar to detect vehicles in front of them, even through heavy rain or darkness. If a car suddenly brakes ahead, radar sees it before your eyes do. LiDAR, the laser scanner. LiDAR is like giving the car a superpower. It spins lasers around and builds a 3D map of everything. It measures distance with incredible precision. It sees the shape of objects, it understands the depth and height of things. If cameras are the eyes, LiDAR is the glasses. Ultrasonic sensors, the whisperers. These are the tiny parking sensors. They detect things close to the car that cameras sometimes miss, particularly while parking. High-definition maps. AI cars don't use Google Maps. They use something more advanced. High-definition maps that know the exact shape of roads, curbs, signs, lane counts, and even how tall some bridges are. These maps help the car predict what should be there, so it can notice when something unexpected appears. Sensor fusion, the brain's common sense. All these sensors work together. The AI chip fuses the data into a single understanding of the world, a giant real-time puzzle of everything happening around the vehicle. It can identify what things are, predict what they'll do next, and decide the safest action. At this point, the car doesn't just see the world, it understands it. Or at least it understands enough not to drive into a wall. So now the million-dollar question: with all these sensors and chips, can a car think? It depends what you mean by think. If by think you mean make decisions, anticipate danger, understand patterns, plan a path, avoid obstacles, then yes, AI cars think extremely well. But if by think you mean feel emotions, hold grudges, philosophize about life, decide they want to be DJs, then no, AI cars are not conscious. They're not alive. They're not plotting anything except the best lane to stay in. A car's thinking is all mathematics. It predicts movements. It optimizes for safety. It chooses actions based on probabilities. It's impressive, but it's not human thought. Let's talk about the features people ask about most, and let's test how smart they actually are. Adaptive cruise control. When you're cruising on a highway, adaptive cruise control keeps you at a set speed and adjusts automatically when the car ahead slows down. It judges distance. It tracks the speed of traffic. It reacts instantly if the car in front brakes. Humans see brake lights. AI sees velocity, deceleration rates, relative distances, and collision probabilities. In other words, while you're vibing to music, the AI is doing physics, lane keeping, and lane centering. Here, the AI reads lane lines like a student preparing for an exam. It detects curvature. It predicts the path. It centers the car even around bends. It doesn't panic. It doesn't overcorrect. It doesn't drift left because it saw a nice cloud, auto park, and smart parking. The car scans the surroundings, measures available spots, calculates angles, and moves the steering wheel perfectly. It never overthinks. It never tries 3 times. It never gives up halfway like a frustrated human. Driver monitoring. Some AI cars watch your face. They detect eye movement, head position, drowsiness, distraction, and sometimes even emotion. If the car notices you're tired, it might warn you. If it notices you're angry, it might tighten safety systems. If it notices you're not paying attention, it may force you to take control. Predictive driving. This is where AI becomes impressive. It can predict that a pedestrian might step into the road even before the pedestrian fully commits. It can anticipate a cyclist swerving. It can detect a merging car that hasn't merged yet. It knows when a vehicle ahead is about to brake before the brake lights appear. This is the level of intelligence that makes AI feel smart. AI isn't perfect. Sometimes it behaves like that one friend who panics too easily. It might slam the brakes for a shadow. It might think a plastic bag is a living creature. It might treat a harmless bump in the road like a natural disaster. It might misread a sign because it was slightly tilted. AI is brilliant, but it overthinks a lot. Kind of like a person who Googles headache and decides they're dying. The future is wild. AI cars will communicate with each other. They'll coordinate intersections without traffic lights. They'll personalize your cabin experience. They'll detect your mood. They'll know your driving habits. They'll adjust automatically to weather, traffic, and even your daily schedule. They won't be alive, but they'll be extremely capable. With great intelligence comes great responsibility and great questions. Who is at fault if an AI car crashes? How safe is safe enough? Can AI be hacked? How much control should humans keep? Should AI decide in emergencies? These are questions governments, engineers, and insurance companies are fighting over right now. We're entering the era where cars don't just drive. They make decisions, and society needs to catch up. So, can your car think for itself? Not in the human sense, not in the emotional sense, but in the mathematical, predictive, decision-making sense? Yes, cars today are smarter than ever, and the more we understand them, the safer we'll be. If you enjoyed this exploration of AI-chipped driving, hit like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments, would you trust an AI to drive you every day?